You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Welcome to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. I am your host, Brandy Williams, and welcome to a week of new energy and new beginnings. I'm going to try to keep things short, but there is a lot to say about this week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the fray of it all. Monday, November 18th, we started the week off with a lovely and dreamy romantic connection between the sun, who's still in Scorpio, with a trine to Neptune and Pisces, giving us an increased affinity to think about and understand things on a spiritual level. We could also experience vivid dreams and intuitive messages about our life's path, our purpose, and how we've matured emotionally this week. We could also be assisting someone this week in a charitable way that makes us really proud of ourselves and reflects all the ways that we've evolved and grown emotionally. We could also experience a lot of harmony in relationships. Also on Monday, Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius opposes Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So Mercury is our sign of communication. It's our intellect. It's how we learn and the things we like to talk about. It's in the sign of Sagittarius. And Jupiter is our planet of expansion and abundance. And it's the law. It's our higher mind and bigger thinking, how we see the bigger picture, things like that. And that's in the sign of Gemini. Here's the thing though. Mercury actually belongs, and is stronger in the sign of Gemini, and Jupiter belongs, and is stronger and it's strongest in the sign of Sagittarius because they belong together. But these guys are in each other's homes, so they're not strong there. So while these two are in each other's homes, they are getting together. They're drunk because they don't have a really sober mind. And there could be big optimistic thinking, big dreams, big talks, big plans about the future and how they're ready to execute now, but perhaps not in the most sober state of mind. So, with that being said, this week we could experience a lot of bigger picture thinking, big thoughts, and big ideas about what we want for ourselves and how we can see certain things going, with not a lot of attention being thought about with the small details of how that's going to play out. Not a lot of precision and clarity on the step by step of those big dreams. This is typically a good transit for business and contracts and negotiations, but these two planets are not sober. So we want to be mindful of taking action on these big ideas without looking at the fine print or the details. We want to make sure the foundation that we are planning these ideas on are solid before we bank on something, before we press the execution button. And we want to make sure that this week we're not believing all the thoughts that go through our head and like making plans on those thoughts or making statements to other people with those thoughts. Not believing everything that we hear from others, and definitely don't assume this week that you have all of the information because Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde next Monday on the 25th. So we are in a shadow period of Mercury retrograde, which means we're already experiencing tech issues. I changed my mic 3 times. We are already seeing glitches. We could have already been experiencing some kind of missteps. We've been seeing accidents, which is definitely a Mercury and Gemini situation. And so we want to be careful. We want to remain open. We want to look at all the facts. And then once we have taken a little 1-2 to redo something, we want to just use discretion before we decide to move forward with an idea or or believe something that we hear this week. Okay, big deal. Yesterday, November 19th, pretty big deal. Pluto just left Capricorn forever in our lifetimes and moved to Aquarius forever. We had a little taste of this in 2023 when Pluto moved into Aquarius, just to kind of show us a little glimpse of what, like, this is what your life's going to be like in the next 20 years. And then it went back to Capricorn and it was all about the rules. But now Pluto is in Aquarius where he will be until 2044. Why is this a really big deal? Well, Pluto signifies death, transformation, and rebirth. So this planet will destroy whatever has come to overpower us, whatever is rotting and decaying. Pluto really takes those things, turns it into fertilizer. Like you ever seen a like rotting tree in the forest? Or is that just me? Anyways, if you know about mulch and how the world composts things and repurposes it, that's what Pluto does. So Pluto is going to take what no longer aligns with us, transforms it into something useful and powerful, and then there's a rebirth, there's a made anew of a situation. And that is what is happening on the 19th. A change in our era, a change and a shift in our minds, and an evolution of humanity is going to take place, because the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was a little after the United States like became a thing. There was the industrialization, and there was the Haitian Revolution, and there was the American Revolution, and there was the French Revolution, and some other things. And also indicating an age of enlightenment. So, that's what Aquarius does. Its modern day ruler is Uranus. Aquarius energy comes to liberate and break us out of things. So, with that being said, I'm pretty sure as long as we've been alive, and even throughout our parents' lives and maybe our grandparents, we've existed in a world of paradigms and structures and systems of rules, which is what Capricorn represents: the structure of things, the skeleton of things, the things that kind of like support us and give us backbones. Also, Capricorn being a sign of Saturn is a restrictor. There's a restrictor in power. There's a restriction because of rules. There's a restriction of who can have money and who can't. And many of these traditions were born in the United States under Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn is a part of the United States birthday, July 4th, 1776. Pluto was at 27 degrees of Capricorn. So this country was built on tradition and restrictions and divisions of power and structures that set us up in specific ways to not experience certain freedoms, even though it's the land of the free. But this is just how things were orchestrated and created. And a lot of it was to protect a lot of other people's liberties and things, and a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it was capitalism and power, and this is when the industrial age all began and all the things. So a lot of these structures are still in play today, even though Pluto has made a full revolution, 240-year revolution out of Capricorn, which that's where it was when the United States first started, and now into Aquarius, which was where it was when a lot of revolutions happened. If I'm not mistaken, even the Civil War. So here we are. During those times, during your grandparents or your parents' times, we've seen and witnessed also the abuse and the hoarding of power and resources, and how we idolize other people. How there's a story of the select 1% that has all the money, and we are over here working our hands to the bones trying to get a little bit of money, and they have a cap on how much we can get, and all those things. And since 2008, when Pluto ingressed into Capricorn, we could have experienced our own personal battles with Pluto, something that rocked us, broke us down, but transformed us. Something that had to happen, because when we emerged with a new suit. We was different. Okay. So if you can think about what happened in 2008 until now, how you've transformed, that is definitely relevant to this Pluto going into Aquarius, because some other part of your life is about to transform, and it could be for the absolute better. But now that Pluto is back into Aquarius 240 something years later, we are entering a new era and major cosmic shifts. So many of my esteemed and much more seasoned astrologer colleagues that I follow and that I've been taking cues and notes from, they do predict that life could be changing for the good. There's so many different ways that life can change within my own research predicted as well. Over the next 20 years, we could see a change in how we work together as a species, doing away with overpowered authority and the top 1% having all the money. The worship of celebrities seems to be going away, crumbling of structures and top down corporations where we have the CEO and then everybody else is subordinate. We could witness changes and elevations in human rights, more personal freedom, vast technological advances, which may or may not be a good thing. This could be the new form of centralized power over the people, using technology and weaponizing it against our climate, weaponizing it against humanity, weaponizing it against other countries, um, is a big deal with Aquarius energy because Aquarius is all about the futuristic and the tech. And so I've even heard that there are drones that people can sit in. I'm not with all the conspiracy theory stuff, but you know, they finding little aliens and stuff, and Congress is talking about it. Or is it a distraction? You never know. So, more people will begin to appreciate their own uniqueness and individual expression of others without idolizing that of another person, without saying, oh, this person is so amazing. Let's give them the award for coming to school every day, even though you're sick. No, we're going to walk into a season in an era where we are appreciating our own gifts, our own uniqueness, and the uniqueness of other people, and saying, hey, everyone has something amazing, different, and unique to bring to the table so that we can make magic as a whole. I hope and I believe we're going to be seeing that in corporate and job settings where there's people who can push out a lot of work in 2 days, but they can't do a whole five. I feel like we're going to see a big shift in the way that we work and the way that we exist. And it's going to be tailored to how we are programmed and how we function versus trying to make everybody some kind of conveyor belt worker, even in the school system. So, some of the significations of Aquarius can sound very utopian, but there are so many complex sides to Aquarius energy. So, it ain't gonna all be holding hands in the field in the age of Aquarius with our hippie crowns on. I think that on the extreme flip side, there can be this mass individualism in people. People who are like, I don't want to be a part of a tribe, F society. I ain't coming to Thanksgiving no more. I don't care about the family. I don't want no community. I don't like people because Aquarius energy is highly concerned about the collective, but many Aquariuses hate the individual people. They want to be left alone. So, with that coming to play, we could see some things like that. We could see some people who are engaging in anarchy and the rejection of anything that resembles authority. We won't be controlled by the system, tearing down, you know, things and not wanting to be a part of a government at all. We've already been seeing glimpses of that. A lot of people in the new age media and influencers don't want to vote. They want to reject the system, not good or bad, I guess for them. But we're seeing a glimpse of that. We could also see these same new age type of people and just other people who are heavily on their platforms because social media is going to be everywhere and even more intense than it is now because Aquarius energy rules social media. We could see people trying to push other people into some kind of emotional and psychological evolution way before they're ready. And then that becoming like the new uncool. Like if you're not evolving, grandma, uh, we are gonna like reject you. Can't come to Thanksgiving and things like that. And so the people who used to follow the traditions and the rules and the structures, it's like, hey, I just pay my bills, I go to work, I just follow the rules and go to speed limit, they gonna be uncool, possibly. And then that's gonna bring up a rejection and a feeling of anger inside of them versus the feeling of the scapegoat and the black sheep feeling rejected. All the black sheeps and the scapegoats could come together and it's just gonna be a new thing, which is beautiful, fellow black sheep person. But not to the point where we are being the oppressor. So Another thing we could see is taking technology too far, too fast, like some type of mad scientist. We already see the mad scientist stuff happening. So we already know that could be a thing. That's already a thing. Y'all got robots trying to drive the food in the trucks. I mean, nobody's seen our robot, I guess. But technology is here. It is going to go rampant. And the Aquarius energy is very in the mind, it's very electric. We can develop and move faster than can feel ready to handle with this energy because there's going to be so much of an uptake in the social media and technology. Like it's going to be everywhere and all around us. And that Aquarius energy does not find itself in the body. It's always in the head because it's learning. It's very sciency. It's very techy. It's an air sign. Even though it has water in its symbol, it is not a water sign. It is an air sign. It is the water bearer. And so this could have us feeling very disconnected from the body, heavily in our minds. So we must make a conscious effort to ground back into our bodies and our emotions and know when to step away. So life usually exists somewhere in the middle of all of these extremes. I think we're likely going to see a mixture of some things, but I don't think it's going to be all dystopia and all utopia. There's just going to be it's going to feel like, I believe, this is a new era. It's almost like that time we used to live in felt like the Oregon Trail. And now this is something that we are witnessing that's completely different, but not in a necessarily scary way. Um, this is a good time to learn how to ground and don't forget nature because when we had Pluto and Capricorn, we had some of us had the inclination to be out in nature and to walk and to take it slow sometimes and to really ponder because that's another thing that Capricorns do. But this is not a pondering sign and energy. So we want to make sure to know when to step away, know how to put our feet on the ground, know how to connect back to nature and to our own humanity, and to just really ground the body and step into a meditative practice and be mindful because this energy can be mentally consuming. So this Pluto in Aquarius movement can bring grief as we witness some of our old traditional ways of living begin to crumble, the ways that we were taught, the ways that we saw our foundations being built are going to potentially be torn down and life's going to look very new. That could be really scary for people who don't like change and for people who really loved and appreciated and benefited from those traditions. We could also see and will see people feeling relief with newfound freedom and finally getting to feel like they belong in a world that outcasted and rejected them so many times. I have so much more to say on this topic, but I'm just going to leave it here for now because I have a couple of more things to discuss and we have 20 years to break it down. So that was just Tuesday. Thursday, November 21st, the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius. Sag, you up next. Bring in a season of optimism, enthusiasm, new philosophies, new beliefs, new belief systems. We could be changing what we choose to believe in, new or deeper perspectives on the bigger picture of our lives, the thing that we see for ourselves. And some of us could be learning new things, going back to school, taking courses, traveling, which travel is kind of like expected around this time, but some of us could have job opportunities that we're traveling for and traveling just to explore and learn new things. This season is asking us to pull away from being too much in our lists and the minutia and the details and the minute steps of how we're going to make our dreams come true and take some time to look at the bigger picture of what we want out of life with the intentions that it can and will happen for us. Also on November 21st, we have our Sun in Sagittarius sextiling in a productive conversation with our new Pluto in Aquarius, bringing a subtle awareness to how things are already changing for us. A good day to dig deep into things that could be in the way or that's not working for you and decluttering those out the way. A good day to dump things out that you don't want. Clear up any kind of confusion or misunderstandings at the workspace or with a business partner or with your own partner or a friend or something like that. Cancel any subscriptions that aren't useful. Sometimes we have money sitting right there in our pockets and we are not realizing it because we're still paying something and we don't even really like. Cancel it. This week you could be more attracted to a lot of occult knowledge, a lot of astrology, like what we're discussing now, a lot of spiritual or philosophical studies this week. I know I have. I've been looking into some really cool things about ancient philosophies and stuff. And finally, on November 22nd, Venus in Capricorn makes a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. Great transit for building sound relationships and business partnerships. Great transit for networking. We will have an increased ability to not mix business with emotions this week, to be able to respect the differences of our colleagues and business partners and our intimate partners as well. And really, we're going to experience some form of level headedness more than we usually could have, and a sense of healthy detachment in our relationships and our business partnerships. So, if somebody's feeling really strong about something and they have an opinion or they have a complaint, there's going to be an ability for us to look at that and be like, yeah, I get that. I understand. Mm. And we care, but we're not taking it personally. And that is a beautiful place to be. This is also a good transit for our creative work, our business ordeals, our home decor, passion projects, and also looking at our money. This is a great sober energy that helps us pay good attention to what we should and shouldn't spend on, how we can preserve and hold on for a better investment about something, and just having this capacity for an emotionally mature experience with another person. Such a good end to the week. Just a little bow on some of the things that could feel crazy. So that's all I have for this week. I'm going to do a quick recap for us, and I'm going to put that recap in the show notes in case anyone wants to journal on it. So this week can be a week of optimism, big dreams, and big ideas. We could see things changing drastically. We could see things changing drastically in our lives. Only fools rush in. Stop and look at the logistics and the facts before you take action or believe what you hear. Let yourself learn new things, but don't forget to ground the energy. Detach and remain open, optimistic, and curious, because we may not have all of the information yet. I hope this talk helped someone and comforted someone and just, or entertained someone. Maybe it's just like, I don't care about none of this, but your voice is nice. Um, I hope you come back next week. I hope you have a great and amazing week. And remember, we have time. And if you want to work with me, I'm going to put my link in the show notes. I'm also offering recorded sessions with you not having to be there. So if none of my times work for you, you get to send me a message and say, hey, I want this time. I want this reading. I don't want to be there because I'm busy. And I'm like, say less because I got you. And let's make that happen. So I hope everyone has a great week and I will talk to you next week. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.